Hi there, this video is going to be going over how to enter in your data into the Aquams NALMS Secchi dip in database. So I am logged in currently into the system as a citizen scientist. Now, how am I going to enter in my results? We're going to go through this Enter tab and we're going to click Enter Results. Here we're brought to a couple different data entry pages. These data entry pages simply allow you to choose what type of data you're putting in the system and choose the configuration that matches accordingly. I'm going to start with our Secchi readings, and we can always click into another configuration later. So here's an example of what this data entry page looks like. I'm going to scroll on down. I'm pretty zoomed in here just to kind of help my eyes. But here's what a typical data entry page is going to look like. Now, to start at the top, we have a couple items that are filled in our activity information, i.e. our main sampling event information, and then this blank section that allows us to enter in our result values, our result units, and comments if applicable. So at the top, let's just start with what each item represents, and we'll fill it in as we go. So our project ID also represents our conducting organization. Now, you are going to have the default be the general NALM Secchi Dip-In project, but if you are a part of a greater organization, conducting organization, you can select your ID from this list below. If you have questions over what your conducting organization ID is, reach out to a NALM staff member and they'd be happy to best direct you on what your ID is. Next, we have our monitoring location that we actually sampled at. Now, our sampling location type is actually going to be under the watershed management unit. Now, we're going to first select, is it a lake, is it a river, stream, wetland, or other type of water we're sampling at. Then we have this text box here that actually turns into a drop down when we start to add in text. So here I'm going to type in, I'm looking for the Great Salt Lake. So I'm going to go Salt Lake here, and we're going to select from our list this Great Salt Lake here. Now, what happens if you don't find your location that you are sampling at? Aquams does include all possible allowed values for nationally recognized locations. However, there is always a chance that your particular water body is not present on that list. To add your location into the system, we're going to go ahead and click Can't Find Your Water Body. And when that clicks, it's trying to say click and can't find at the same time. Then we have a pop-up occur. Here we're going to enter in a water body name that represents our location, the country, the state if applicable, and then the latitude and longitude that you are sampling at. There's a reminder, but also just as a heads up, make sure you use a negative for your longitude if for North or South America, just to put you in the right hemisphere. Then we have to select what watershed management unit or what a location type we want to be sampling at. Once you've entered in all this information, you can click Create New Water Body, which allows you to utilize this water body in Aquams for other sampling events, for your own results, or for anybody else to use. So I'm going to go ahead and click Cancel here since I found my water body, but just know that is available. Next, we have our activity start date and time. These are the date and times that you sampled your data for. Next, we have our activity start time zone. This is standardized at GMT time zone. However, if you have a more accurate time zone of where you're sampling at, please choose from the drop down your more accurate time zone instead. Next on our list, we have our activity latitude and longitude. This is a required field when entering in data into the NALMS Aquams environment. That's because we're using these general water bodies here. We need to know exactly where at on this water body that you are sampling, because locations like the Great Salt Lake, for example, can be rather large. So we need to know exactly where you are at on that body of water to more accurately depict where and what your data represents. Next, we have our horizontal collection method and reference datum. If you do not have an idea of what you use to grab your latitude and longitude, just leave it as the default for GPS unspecified and unknown. If you happen to have some more specific information, feel free to use these drop downs to add that in appropriately. Next, we have our sample collection method and equipment IDs. Now, these represent the type of sampling and how you sampled it. In this particular instance, we're on the Secchi data entry page, so we're going to only have the option to use our Secchi disk information. Our sample collection equipment comment, this is really referring to the information about our disk, what color it is, any sort of that associated information. We want to put about the equipment in general, we want to put it in this comment. Our activity comment is where we're going to put in our name. This allows us to better facilitate reaching out to you if your data has any questions or concerns from the NOLM staff. So activity comment, general comments, or your name of the sampler or conducting organization that you would like to be reached out to, just in case there's a question on your data. Finally, we have our actual result value down here. Our result value is under this little text box here. You're just going to put in a result value and then select here from the unit of measure options provided. Our result comment allows you to put in those fields that you would generally see, like was then my computer scrolled up on me. Were you wearing sunglasses? Was it shady? All that good stuff can go right here under the result comment field to help better accurately depict what kind of measurement and was taken. So I'm going to pause this video for a second, and when I come back, I'll show you an example of this all filled in. All right, here is my completed data entry page. Now I filled in all of these items that we've discussed. I have our sample collection comments in. I've added a more accurate time zone. I didn't have any additional information on my horizontal collection method and datum, so I just left that the same. And then we scroll down here. I have my actual measurement for my Secchi disk and my associated information, where my reading was taken from, my view scope, all that good information. So because I've added this in the system, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And we see all items are saved successful, and we are going to now click Add New. And it keeps trying to have me add a water body here just because I clicked into that a second ago. But here we're going to now select if we have additional results to add in, i.e. did we take probe measurements, did we do any weather observations. The system now prompts us to go to our next data entry page to add that information in. So if we want to go to our weather comments, click Add New. It's now going to populate our next data entry page. As you can see, Aquam's left all your activity information. It did not populate your sample collection method, sample collection comment or activity comment, just because that can change due to the different types of readings that you are taking on multiple different occasions. So just know if you have some sample collection equipment comments that you would like to add for your new equipment, i.e. no equipment in this case for weather observations, then you could add that in there. Same items are below. This time you don't select your unit of measure, however, you just select from the drop down your types of weather. You can type in physically your temperature, it's in degrees Fahrenheit, and then again select from the drop down. Result comments, same kind of thing that we did on the Secchi dip-in page, just add associated information to better help understand the types of readings that you're taking. You can continue to do this for each activity that you're collecting and go through all 3 different data entry pages. If you have a new activity to enter in the system, you can always go back and click Add New again to select your new activity, or click the Cancel button to cancel out of this page and go back to the list page where you selected your data entry page to begin with to give you a blank data entry page if you don't want to use your existing activity information. For any specific questions or concerns, please reach out to a NALM staff member and they would be happy to assist you. Otherwise, you can look at the additional videos and tutorials that are provided on the website.